What did you feel like when you saw people bullying the trees?
Oh, I was kind of mad. That's a good question. I felt a little hurt because as a landscape architect, every time you put a tree in the ground, you feel a little disappointment and sadness when it either dies or gets injured. But when it's done on purpose, you get mad first, and then you feel a little sad for the tree because now it's going to struggle. But the first instinct was I was mad that somebody would, just mistreat a tree that was just there for the benefit of all the other students and the kids. So yes, good question.
Thank
Walk on
you.
the other side of the jungle gym, and there's another form of tree damage, vandalism, that I want to show you, to a really nice tree called a tulip tree. So let's just walk this way for a moment. So those witch hazels I just pruned the dead stuff off of the little yellow flowers and those little shrubs. We'll go by there in a second. That's a little witch hazel shrub, but so can you see that? So somebody grabbed the branch up here, so it had to be a pretty big kid and probably a pretty strong kid, or maybe several kids, and they pulled it down like that. And they didn't just do it once. They did it a second time, a third time, and a fourth time. So they weren't just playing, right? They did it deliberately. So somebody was trying to hurt this tree. And the reason why this hurts is because it makes the tree weaker here, and it also, because it has an injury that it's going to take many years to grow the bark over that, this is now exposed to diseases and insects that may want to get in there to drink the sap of the tree. So what we have to do is we prune it, so you can see that the bark forms a circle around here, around that branch. That's called the collar of the tree. So when you prune something, you don't want to get into the collar, but you want to get close to the collar, so then the tree grows new skin, like your finger grows new skin over a cut, or more likely a skinned knee, right? So I have to start slow. Let's hope yeah, there we go. So that's a nice smooth cut. It doesn't go into the collar, and then this will grow over. So this helps heal. Let's see. Do this. So I don't get my own knuckles, right? Avoid that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oops. It goes slower as it gets near the end, right? There we go. And so this is probably a little branch that broke in the nursery, and the nursery man came by and clipped that, because you can see that's an old scar, right? So we're gonna get this one. Oop, there we go. So that'll help the tree, because the type of cells that grow in this part of the tree are used to having branches grow off, so they're kind of genetically predisposed to go over and cover that and heal that over. But this is more difficult. So this is a tulip tree, and the reason why it's called a tulip tree, because the flowers look like the quintessential tulip, right? And the leaf, when you watch this tree, the leaf growing here also looks like a tulip. It's crazy. It's just like a tulip.
And is this the only one?
This is the only tulip tree.
It has buds on it too. It's exciting to see.
Oh, the
that it
buds.
has
See,
buds
the big.
and high there.
This is how tree people, like myself, first look at the buds. See how it looks like a platypus tail or something like that, or a little thumb. It's soft and shiny. This is what all tulip trees have, that bud. So if once you memorize what that looks like, you can identify a tree. It's like me knowing your face, right? Once I know your face, I'll say, oh, you're Lindsay, right? So there's another tree over there that has a leaf that looks like a hand. It has both a right hand thumb and a left hand thumb. And then some of the leaves on the same tree have mittens, or double mitten. It's called the sassafras. It's way over there. It's only about this big. So that's a cool, really cool tree. But once you get the names of these trees, you can look up and you can see how these, and that's a tree that used to make Root beer, sassafras. You ever had root beer? That flavor comes from a tree. It's just like birch. Birch beer is a soda. It's called beer, but it's a soda. That comes from the bark and the roots of a birch tree. So a lot of the natural flavors come from trees and other plants. So that's about all for the pruning. I mean, I'll just do this another one or two over there, but.
Great, thank you. So would you wrap that up with anything to protect it? Would you put anything?
No, used to be people thought that you had to paint that or wrap it, but that actually doesn't encourage the cells to grow. What they do now is, like, this is a pretty clean cut. They would actually, like a doctor, go in and cut. See that if there's a jagged edge, make it smooth. But that, I mean, this is already pretty clean. So they would, you know, an arborist, a tree doctor would come in and take a knife and really smooth that, get rid of the jagged stuff so it heals faster. But I'm not, of course, an arborist.
Does that have a funny bump on the bottom?
Oh yeah, okay, right. Good eye. This is a good eye, right? So see that has like a swell, or has a collar around that? This is when it was grown in the nursery too long with a really tight strap around it. And then the bark started to expand, but the rope or strap around that restricted the growth there. So it was in a ball. So they cut it out of the ground and they put it in a burlap ball, and they left the strap there so long that it bumped up like that. But now that it's out, it'll level off over the years. But that might be kind of interesting. That might be kind of interesting to watch how that disappears over time.
You know the season has been really warm. Are these trees ahead of time? I know the cherry blossoms are early in Washington, like they said 2 weeks
There's
early.
no way things can't be ahead of time. Although I mean, you see that I had snowdrops in my house 2 weeks ago. But, you know, I mean, maybe we'll have a cold spell that'll slow things down. But when things get ahead of time, the bees can't keep up with the flowers, right? And if the flowers come out like apple trees, if the flowers bloom really early, and before the bees get there to make the pollen get in on the flowers to make the apple fruit, if we have a hard cold, the flowers may die before they get pollinated, and then we have really restricted amount of apples grown in that year. So when things get off cycle from climate change, the bees and the flowers aren't at the same place at the same time, so you don't get the fruit. The pear, there's another one of these, but it's missing. It's right over there. If you try to find that. So over here. So this was a sign. This was another small American linden tree, which is a native tree. It grows in the New England forests, but obviously somebody broke it, right? So somebody with enough strength came by and they broke that tree. And it probably wasn't by accident, but they could have been just playing with the tree because it whips around, and maybe they were thinking they were having fun, but basically they went too far and they were bullying the tree. They were being mean to that tree. And even though that tree is replaceable, what's lost is the fact that your parents and your friends and your friends of friends helped plant that tree. So this tree creates the community that you know your school to be, right? You have friends here, and all your friends get together to make this landscape nicer, and they plant trees. And then some bully comes along and breaks the tree. He's really breaking a little piece of the community that we can round up and replace. But he's not being nice to the things that everybody else loves. So it's kind of it's what's called vandalism.